Materialiser is capable of creating a handful of material types by default, and hasn't been programmed to create any more advanced shader networks. You can change this, however. By creating a template material in exactly the same way you normally make a material, you can teach Materialiser how to build whatever you need in the future. Materialiser does this through snapshots. A snapshot takes all of the nodes, connections and attributes from a shader network you create and remembers them for later. It also remembers what map type was loaded into every file node, so that the correct map can be loaded in place later on. To create a new snapshot, first build the material exactly as you would if you were going to apply it to an object in your scene. Make any connections you need, set any attributes that are non-default, and create file nodes. You can load a placeholder texture file into these file nodes, as long as it's of the correct map type, and Materialiser recognises the naming conventions. If it doesn't, you can set this up in the Configure Map Types window. However, you don't actually need to load a file here. Instead, you can simply start typing a placeholder name that would fit the naming conventions for this map type. For example, placeholder_diff or x_diff. Maya will give you a warning, but you can ignore it for now. In the Snapshot New Shader Type menu, give your new snapshot a name. Then select any node from the shader network in the Hypershade editor and click Get Selection. If done correctly, the boxes below should fill with all the nodes in your shader network and the texture maps that will be requested. Double check these, especially the map types, before continuing. You may need to edit your naming conventions if anything is missing. In its current state, every node from your shader network will be created every single time you use it. This is probably not what you want, as some materials might not use every one of your map types. In the Optional Nodes window, you can define all of the nodes which are non-essential for your shader network. These will only be created if any of the texture files they depend on are found. To make nodes optional, Shift-select all of your optional nodes and then click Get Selection. They should appear in the list below. It's generally a good idea to select most of your network except for your main material node and shader group, unless you're doing something more advanced. Once you have defined which nodes to capture and which nodes to capture as optional, click the Snapshot button. The new snapshot should appear in the Shader Types drop-down in the main window.